Hello, Jeff here from Whitbird Botanical, and welcome back to my garden. In this video I'm going to show you how to repot a citrus plant, since I need to repot mine. And I'll talk a little bit about what I went wrong with when I did this originally and what I'm going to be doing and why. So that sounds interesting, stay tuned and we'll get right into it. So this here's my dwarf mandarin, which I've had for a bit over a year now. It was only probably this sort of big when I got it. It's grown quite a bit since I've had it, but it's also had its share of issues. It has some, like you can see here, is some dead wood. Leaves have come off here. There's a little bit of discoloration on leaves and potentially some pests and stuff on here at the moment, which I need to deal with. But one of the biggest issues it's had has been the way it was potted up. Now this pot itself is fine, there's nothing wrong with using a plastic pot for a citrus, but it's more the media that it's in. It's in quite a cheap potting mix. It definitely could be better. It holds onto a lot of water, which isn't necessarily bad because citrus do like a lot of water, but it holds onto it too much to the point where it's really detrimental. It's kind of like it's sitting in water, so it has a lot of issues. It's been kind of hard to juggle the watering with this particular one. It's also just really compacted. The soil compacts really easy. It's just generally speaking not a good mix. I shouldn't have used this mix for it, but it's what I had on hand at the time, so that's what I used. And I do regret that. And what I think you really should be doing when you're potting up a citrus is definitely using a citrus specific mix. Generally speaking, I think you can get away with general mixes or making up your own mix out of different materials and stuff all the time, but when it comes to citrus, I think you better stop just getting a citrus mix. It's going to take a lot of the hassle out, a lot of the thought. It's quick and easy. It's not that expensive, and I think it's just well worth it. So yeah, this actually also has a little pak choi growing in it, which I might just transplant into another garden because it seems to be doing pretty well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this mandarin out of this pot. I'm going to clear off as much of this mix as I can, and I'm actually going to pot it up into this grow bag. I actually just got this in the post yesterday. It's a root pouch grow bag. I'm pretty excited to use it. But the reason I'm using this is because grow bags have this really interesting thing where when the roots go out, instead of hitting the edge of the pot and turning around and getting root circling and root bound, they'll actually go through the bag and air prune, and they can lead to having really good healthy root systems and good growth. So I'm really excited to sort of give this a go and see how it works. But it's about the same size as the pot I've got it in, which is pretty good. It's a 30 litre grow bag. So I've got one bag of mix, which should be enough because I'm not going to fill the bag all the way to the top, and I'm going to there's probably a little bit of soil that will come with the root ball, and then I'll probably put a little bit of a mulch layer on top as well using just cocoa fibre. But yeah, so I'm going to pot it into this, and then once it's potted in, I'm just going to remove some of this problematic stuff. So there's a piece of dead wood here. I'm going to prune that off. This piece here has lost quite a lot of leaves, so I'm going to prune that down. There's another bit up here I'm going to prune up, and I'm going to take out any leaves that are really badly damaged. Just to try and give the plant the best chance to put effort into growing its root system, and getting set up in this grow bag, and then hopefully as spring comes on in about a month and a half, we'll start to hit spring. Hopefully this will put on some nice good new growth, and it'll have a good growing season, and then hopefully I can maybe get some fruits off it in the following fruiting season. So we'll get started and I'll show you how I'm going to do that whole process. So step one is to just get the mandarin out of this pot. I've got a wheelbarrow here, which is what I usually use to decant all my whole potting mix, and then I can sort of revamp it from there. So I'll get this out, get as much of the mix off the root ball as I can, and then we'll go on to actually putting it into the next thing and doing other processes. The other thing is, pulled it up, there's a pak choi growing in here, so I'm just going to move this into another pot, so hopefully I can harvest it later on, because it's a bit small now. What I'm going to do at the start here is just sort of trying to remove some of this top layer of soil. I could just tip the whole thing out, but this is going to make it a bit easier. Remove some of this top layer of soil where I know there's not going to be any roots, and then I will essentially tip the pot into the barrel while supporting the stem of the plant. That was actually a bit more difficult to get out than I anticipated, but what's really interesting about this mix is it's absolutely chock full of worms. There's so many in here. There's still a heap of mix in the pot full of worms as well. So the mix itself, not too bad. I think it just needs maybe some, like, it is holding way too much water, but I think I can refurb this mix just by adding some, possibly some perlite or something like that to give it a bit of aeration, and then and maybe even just composting this all down, because I mean my compost bins would probably enjoy the influx of worms as well. But what I'm going to do is just try and get as much of this old mix off as I can, but it's pretty good. So that's my root system. I'm going to put this to the side, and I'm going to get the rest of the soil out of that pot and then move on to the grow bag. So now all I'm going to do is just get a little bit of potting mix into the bottom of this, and then I'll sit the mandarin in here, and then I'll build the potting mix up around it. Now I've got a good layer in here. It's probably about, I don't know, a third or a quarter, maybe a quarter full. And then I'll just place this in here, and I'll actually hold it up a bit. I won't sit it right down on, because you don't want to go too far up here with your potting mix. So I can see my old line, which is about where I want it to be, so I'm just going to hold that like that. And then slowly just add in handfuls of mix and build it up. Start by giving myself something to rest the tree on. So you can see that I've just brought the mix up. This is the stem it's grafted to. You don't want to go too deep on that because you could cause issues of rot and stuff. I was up a little bit higher in the last pot to about here. You can kind of see the change in colour. But I wanted to keep it a bit lower, and I'm going to put a little bit of mulch on here as well. So you can see it's not quite the full to the top of the bag, but it's I'm going to put a little bit of mulch here, and I wanted a little bit of room as well. Another thing you probably saw me do is just tap the bag down. And that's something I like to do once I've set everything in. I just give it a little light tap on the ground, and what that does is just helps the soil sort of settle into place in between all the roots and stuff. Okay, so all I'm going to do, like I said in the intro, is I'm just going to go in and clean up some of this dead material here. There's a dead stick here, there's a bit here that's lost some leaves, and there's another bit somewhere here. Then I'm just going to go through and see if I can find any sort of leaves and stuff like that that are just a bit too far gone, and then I'll clean them up as well and take them off. Then we'll just give it a little bit of a water in. It's already quite a wet mix, but I do like to just give it a water in. It helps settle the soil. That's it for this one, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it informative. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and as always, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.